I have a quick question. When the Spaniards got here, they loved to make it seem as if they took down the whole nation that was here, the Aztecs, Mayans, whoever was here. They act like they took them down with 500 Spaniards. Pretty much, they took down millions and millions of people, right? But then when you start reading history, you start to realize that they made alliances with the natives that were here. One thing I notice is that I don't see very much talked about or written about what happened to these natives. Now, these people made an agreement, an alliance with the Spaniards to take us down. What were they promised? What did they get? What was their reward for siding with the Spaniards against the Mayans, against the original people that were here? Something that I think the Most High has brought to my mind is this. Look, you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that after they've taken us down, have made an alliance. What was promised? What things were promised to these natives by the Spaniards? See, what you have to understand is that there's nothing new under the sun. As we have now awakened and we see the playbook of these Spaniards, of these, the revived Roman Empire, you see that they do the same things over and over again. So let's delve into this a little bit. When the Greeks took down the Egyptians, did they just destroy all the libraries? Did they just burn all the books? See, in history books, that's what they make it sound like. Oh, they just came in and just burned books and destroyed books. But when you start getting into other books, it says that they took over the universities. And then many of the Greeks, their learned Greeks, would come and they would force the Egyptians to teach the Greeks. So that's how they got all this information, was because they forced the priests, the Egyptian priests, to teach the Greeks. So that's how they got the books. They got Alexandria, the library. They got all this information that they were not privy to before. So if that's what they've been doing, they go into certain areas and they take over the books. I mean, it's like they always make it seem like it's just gold that they're after in the movies. They don't want you to realize that they were going looking for information, because Hebrews, the posterity of Enoch, of Seth, was given information that was not readily available to others. And the Most High would defend us and keep the other nations away from us, keep us holy, correct? So when they finally got the blessing of the sword, with that came the opportunity to get the information that they've so sorely wanted. They've always wanted this knowledge, understanding. They've always wanted to be able to puff their chests out as if they have all this knowledge, understanding. So if they did that in Egypt, why don't you think they would do that here? They want to tell you that in Egypt, they said they burned all these books, so they can make it seem that they were the ones that have less information. Fast forward to over here in the new world to them. It was a new world to them, not a new world to us. So would that not make sense? They would do exactly the same thing. They would come over here and say, oh, we burned all these books. But in reality, we had universities here. We had universities on the Yucatan. In fact, the information originated in the Yucatan Peninsula and went everywhere else. Because if you know this, Abraham, the Brahmins, they taught the other nations. They taught the Egyptians. So therefore, the information had to originate somewhere. But see, they're all into just hiding everything. So they get here, just my opinion, but I know I have the Spirit working with me and showing me things. They come over here and they did exactly what they did in Egypt. They brought their people over here and they forced our priest to teach them. Once they kind of got some information, understanding, then all of a sudden this narrative of, oh, well, all the books were burned. We only have 4 books, and all these books, 3 of the 4 books they have left over of the Mayans are supposedly in museums in Europe, and there's 1 in Mexico City. That's all that's left. So you expect me to believe that you guys, burned everything, but then all of a sudden after you burned everything and you got a foothold, then all of a sudden you were interested in the history of the people that were here? No, I'm sure you did exactly the same thing, because there's nothing new under the sun. You did exactly what you did in Egypt. You came, you took over. We already knew you were coming to take over. We already knew what you were coming for. We already knew how when you take over these lands, you go after the universities. You go after the learned people and you force them to teach you. And that's what you did over here. Because all of a sudden, 1611, there's a King James Version Bible, right? Did you have that same kind of Bible before 1611? Or not until you came over here and were taught? We had the calendar that was based off the stars, and the Yucatan is actually set up perfectly for that as well. So you get a better view. That's what they were talking about, these books, that you get a better view of the stars from over here. That's why you set up your telescope. What was it? Of whatever you guys call the one you guys call it over there, and the Catholic Church has one. I want to say it's Satan, but I'm not sure exactly. I forgot the name of it exactly. But it's in Arizona, because you have an infrared one over there. You can put that in the chat later on. So you set up once because you have a better view of the stars here. And Peru, same thing. So you set up these spots over there so that you can see the things you can't see in other parts of the world. So it all started to make sense. What happened to those people? What happened to the ones that made a covenant with you? I'm sure they're all still here, and they're receiving their blessing for siding with you. And a lot of people don't realize this, that they have been forced into, this covenant has gone down from generation to generation, just like the one with Noah and his sons. You make a covenant to go and steal and rape, rob, murder the Most High's chosen people, there's going to be a consequence. One thing that I always see, and I was surprised to see in the Yucatan, was if these people are the supposed Mayans and they have their own belief systems, why am I seeing Cesare Borgia everywhere? Why am I seeing the Virgin Mary everywhere? I'm sure that's part of the covenant, that, we'll give you the whole, facade that you're free and that you're independent, whatever else, but you're going to do what we tell you to do. That's why you see a lot of nations going down there and just having free reign, because rules apply to the natives that are there. Rules apply to people that look like me. But for many others, they don't have those same type of rules. This is how the people represented themselves before the Colombians came here. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of people of color. All of a sudden, they want you to believe that all the Mayans look exactly the same. They all have exactly the same features. But as you can tell right here, you got light skin, dark skin. You got many different people here. So after they make a covenant, all of a sudden you made an agreement to go against us, the Israelites, the Mayaks, and you went with them to destroy all of the knowledge of who we are. And your reward is, we'll make it seem like you control things. We'll give you a little plot of land here, but don't forget that we're in charge, and we are the ones who dictate what you do. No different than when you go to a powwow and they're doing their dances, but in the middle of their dances, they got people holding up the American flag, just standing there holding the flag, just letting you know that, hey, I run this. I'll let you do your little dance, but I run this. They'll show us pictures in the 50s of saying that these are the people, and they just want you to realize. But remember, anything pre-Columbian, they did not accept. So therefore, they're going to dictate who they're going to say are the Mayans, based off of anything after 1492. But this was built before 1492. So you can't come in and say, oh, well, we're not going to accept anyone that you say has built this. I'm going to make up whoever I want to say built this right here. And that's what we've been doing. And that goes all, and then people get pride. A lot of people get pride thinking that, well, hey, I'm Mayan. I'm from the Yucatan now. I speak these languages. So therefore, I built this. And that's not how this works. That is not how this works. You just want to keep putting out people that look like this in order to continue this narrative that these are the original people and there was no one here before. And everyone goes with the lie, the white bearded men. But as you can tell from their own artwork right here, this is what they're referring to when you hear about a white bearded man, a supposed black person, dark person with a white beard. And they want to say things like, she's white. This person here is white. So like I said, everyone has been lied to. And how do you tell who's who right now? Who the Most High is calling, who the Most High is pulling out of these lies, pulling out of the matrix. Those are the ones the Most High is dealing with, the ones that are cleaving to these people, cleaving to these truths. That's how you tell who is who. It has nothing, I don't care what you look like. Don't care how dark your skin is, light your skin is. Are you following the truth? Are you accepting the knowledge that the Most High is bringing? Much love, and be on the lookout for more videos. Shalom.